Little Stooges there for you with Down on the Street from their album Funhouse, which was their second studio album released back in 1970. Welcome to Hexes and Soldiers, episode number 7. I am Jason, and I don't use dice towers. What is up, my kitchen table commanders, you veterans of cardboard combat? How have you been over the past week? I have been okay, I guess. Glad to be back again. As far as shout-outs go for this show, I will keep it short and sweet and just say, all you guys listening, continue to do so, and don't hesitate to become a subscriber or give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you dislike what you're hearing. But always appreciate feedback. And you may have noticed, or not, that the images I post with these shows do not necessarily match up with the show content, and one would think that there should be more of rhyme and reason to that, but there isn't. I'm just throwing things up, and every once in a while the image will match up with the content, but 11 times out of 10 it won't. So you just have to bear with me. And then what else? We got Blues hockey They started playing a little better, and now we got hurt guys again. And let me just ask this, and I'll move on. But give me a break here. Certainly, I'm not the only one that watches hockey, am I? Really? Among you guys out there, and I swear to you, I am not a sports guy. Okay, coming from a town like St. Louis, you would think I would be the biggest Cardinals fan that ever lived, but I gotta be honest with you, I'd rather stare at the sun than watch baseball, and that is no offense to people who like it or the Cardinals, but it just ain't my thing. It's all about hockey. It's the fastest game out there. It's the toughest game out there. I will argue that with anybody. But I do have a point to this in bringing it up, and that is, look, think about it. War games and hockey are similar. They go hand in hand here, and I'll prove it to you. You got the terminology, all right? Players fire the puck. They take shots. You got firing lanes. So you got that. But you also got the tactics that really show how the two are related, because you have breakouts and you rotate your lines and among other things. So maybe I'm stretching it here, but I think they're related. And so yeah, who else out there watches hockey? Certainly I'm not the only one. And the rest of you out there, feel free to show yourself. Drop me a line. Let me know. Maybe we can get a rivalry going, especially if you're from Chicago. And my theory is people don't watch hockey because they don't understand it when it comes to the rules and stuff, which once you get the hang of it, it is worth the effort. But anyway, I guess myself, I was just doomed from the start as far as hockey goes, because having grown up watching the same team since I was a wee youngster, uh, you grow with them. You share the ups and downs with the team until you feel like you're part of a family. And the poor Blues, having never won a Stanley Cup, just adds a real tragic element to their ongoing narrative. But now it looks like I'll be, what else? Getting a job at the hospital, and yay for me. So get that stuff taken care of. And as far as moving to New Orleans, that is still an option, believe it or not. But it's a complicated matter. So enough said about all that stuff. If you guys are still around, I appreciate it. No more sports junk. I noticed something as far as women in wargaming, and I know they exist. They're not mythological beasts. And I figured out that Fushigi TV, if I'm saying this correctly, Fushigi TV is her YouTube channel, has done some things, and they're well worth taking a look at. Among them, a very nice, lengthy review of Hell's Gate, which is a game that was designed by Philip Sabin. And if you're unfamiliar with him, he's written a couple of books, which, if I remember, I'll bring those up later. And also teaches over in England, conflict simulation class, if you can believe it. Those English. And also Callisto 73, Kallisto 73. Give her channel a look because she's doing some wargame stuff as well. And in the news, Friday, April 11th, 2014. Right around the corner, right? Well, not exactly, but close enough. Mark this on your calendar. It is the Chicago ASL Open, and the official invites have gone out already. I received mine from an M. Douglas Lins, or is that Lynes? Lynes. And I feel special, but not that special because I think over 1,000 of these invites went out. And man, if everybody that was invited would show up, how cool would that be? But don't expect everybody to show up. So hopefully a handful of you will make it out there. Don't know if I'll be out there. That all depends on job stuff, geographical location within the contiguous 48, and other unspecified factors. So we'll have to see how that goes. And last week was a bit dry when it comes to new releases and pre-orders and things. And not quite as dry this week. For you Commands and Colors Napoleonics fans, and I include myself in this group, the long anticipated and awaited Austrian expansion is out and shipping. And some very cool battles that Mr. Napoleon fought with the Austrians, adequately represented in the scenarios that are included in this expansion set. So any Commands and Colors Napoleonics fan, do yourself a favor and pick this up. It is a must-have. The Spanish expansion, you can live without that, all right? But the Russian and the Austrian and eventually the Prussian stuff, you're going to want. So grab that up. And knowing the way things go out of print and whatnot, don't bank on it being around forever. The Supreme Commander update kit will be shipping soon for those of you losing sleep over that. And if you bought the game directly from GMT, you're already on their list to get the update, so you don't need to do a dang thing. GMT has a YouTube channel, in case you weren't aware of that, and a Mark Herman is posting most recently some nice little instructional and strategy videos as a kind of companion to Empire of the Sun, which is a, I hate to keep using the word, but a beautiful game. And if you haven't checked out Empire of the Sun, go ahead and do that. We'll wait for you. All right, moving along. December 6th, the Dark Valley and the Hunters began shipping, and quite a bit of buzz on this, unless I'm being mistaken. But seeing a lot of things about this, and I'll come back to that in a second. But in the final third of the month, all P500 orders for 1914 offensive Outrance will begin shipping, and in roughly that same time frame, the 27th C3I issue will ship. And I've begun to get very curious about this magazine. I think I might cash in on it and see what it's all about. Not a lot of wargame magazines out there like there used to be, but so you take what you can get. But this looks all right, so may look into that further. Charging for these will begin on the 16th. The aforementioned things, and tentative production schedule looks a little something like this: January, Blood and Roses, and Combat Commander. A ton of Combat Commander stuff coming out, so you guys out there that live and breathe Combat Commander, you can sigh a long sigh of relief. The let's see, Sea Lion and Battle Packs 1 and 2 reprints, the Europe reprint and the Mediterranean reprint are all coming out. So a big month for Combat Commander, and in February looks like we'll get Unconditional Surrender. Recent P500 editions include No Retreat Italian Front, and No Retreat French and Polish. And as far as new P500 edition, we're looking at Gathering Storm, which is a prequel to a world at war that simulates the military, economic, political, and diplomatic research and production preparations for World War II. As far as P500 orders go, among the top 10 when it comes to number of people ordering these rank thusly: Fields of Fire, Barbarossa Army Group North, Barbarossa Army Group South, as well as Ukraine 43. Fields of Fire I missed out on, sadly, but I will be grabbing up the reprint. And the Barbarossa stuff, don't have any of it. Curious. Don't know if I will make the plunge into that foray. And so yeah, if you're interested in any of these, pre-order them, and it speeds up the process for the rest of us who have already pre-ordered them. So if you're having any trouble with a distant plane or Cuba Libre, GMT has an official errata and clarifications link posted. A Bear's Claw, the battles of Kiev, Uman, and Smolensk, 1941, by Kansan Press, designed by Masahiro Yamazaki, who also did, among other things, Crimean Shield, has had its components upgraded, and Mr. Yamazaki also has Last Stand, the Battle for Moscow, 1941 to 42, still up for pre-order on the MMP site. So please, if you're going to pre-order anything, I'm going to throw my vote in the ring for this, because I have stared at this long enough. It needs to come out now, okay? Let's get this thing pushed to the pre-order limit so this long overdue wait can come to an end and we can see what this is all about. And on the 11th, GMT held a live demo of the Hunters, which I mentioned earlier, and apparently you needed both a Ventrilo and a Vassal to benefit from this live demo. And am I the only one that doesn't know what the hell Ventrilo is? As if we don't have enough to learn and remember and download and familiarize ourselves with. It just never ends. Regarding hunters, we are in search of hunter sightings, apparently. And this is kind of a promotional thing they got going now through the end of December. And this is directly from their mouths. We'd love to see folks share photos of themselves holding the hunters when the game arrives. So for the month of December, if you post a picture that includes yourself with the game, you will be entered into a drawing to win a hunter's coffee mug or a mouse pad. Compliments of Kansan Press, part of the RBM Memories collection. How to enter? Simply post your photo to our Facebook page, which is Kansan Press, and let's see, our CSW forum topic, talk.kansanworld.com. Click on that, or in this thread to be automatically entered in the raffle. And we will pick several winners at the end of the year, and the winners can choose coffee mug or mouse pad. How nice, whichever they prefer. Also, the person with the most creative photo will earn a special prize. And for a lot of you creative geniuses out there, that shouldn't be too hard to come up with. I have a few ideas myself. And if you don't know what Hunters is, well, I tell you, Hunters is hostilities with England, effective immediately. The time is 12:56 hours, 3rd of September, 1939, and that's how it starts. The Hunters is a solitary tactical level game, placing you in command of a German U-boat during World War II. And right off the bat, this reminds me as I turn my head to my shelves of games. Attack Sub, was that a World War II or a modern sub solitaire game? Anyway, this isn't the first time this has been done. Not that there's anything wrong with redoing things. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to destroy as much Allied shipping and as many capital ships as possible while advancing your crew quality and increasing your commander rank, culminating in special decoration, all while remembering you have to make it home. The Hunters is purposely designed to deliver a brisk yet intensive gaming experience that forces many decisions upon you as you will take command among the major German U-boat models in service during World War II and try to complete an entire tour. Those familiar with the classic Avalon Hill game title B-17, Queen of the Skies, will come to enjoy the same type of gaming experience of the German U-boat war. All major U-boat models are accounted for with every level of detail, including period of service, armaments, crew makeup, damage capacity, and more. Game contents will comprise one half-inch full-color two-sided counter sheet. So there are now 174 counters instead of last tally of 140. A rules booklet with designer notes, which is much appreciated there. 4 player aid cards, two-sided. U-boat patrol log sheet, also two-sided. 4 two-sided U-boat display mats. A U-boat command mat, 3 6-sided and 2 10-sided dice. And of course your box. Additionally, from the page from the Geek, let's see, during the initial stage of the Battle of the Atlantic, the German U-boats experienced great success in destroying Allied shipping. Wolf packs, which were groups of submarines swarming over targets, proved to be a lethal force and would become a positive strategic impact for the Germans. The Allies would soon find themselves scrambling and suffering horrific losses at sea at the hands of these silent hunters. However, the Allies would not only stem the tide in due course, but turn it in dramatic fashion in early 43, thanks to countermeasures that included convoy tactics, high-frequency direction finding, also known as Huff Duff, radar, active sonar, and more. Suddenly, the U-boat fleet was being decimated as the hunters became the hunted, and the Allies gained air superiority above the seas. German U-boat losses alone tell the story. Through 41, only 66 U-boats were lost, while during 42, another 96 U-boats would be lost. And then in 43, no less than 237 U-boats were sunk or scuttled at sea. And I always wondered if Hitler had an adequate U-boat fleet, would the Normandy campaign have ever even made it to the beach? Just a thought. Also, I noticed in a link below the Geek page for the Hunters, there's this German name generator. So, if you want a German name randomly selected for you, you click on this link and it creates random German names. So, that is odd / interesting. And then there's also a video tutorials link for the game. So there you go, the Hunters. Grab yourself a copy and become a proud owner. What else is new? Me personally, I got my Cells Battles of the Bulge game from Revolution Games. After a bit of a fright, placed the order and never got a order confirmation from them. So I had to contact them again, have them verify the order, and everything was fine, and my worries were put at ease, especially when the game showed up. So that showed up. Also got Wargame Rhine, the 2005 edition, though I'm not sure why everybody is referring to it as the 2005 edition when it says 2004 in the box. That's a small thing though. And yeah, that thing is just gigantic. It is a monster. One of those monsters that you fear when you're a kid, lurking in the closet or under your bed type monster. This thing is a beast. Let's see, fast action battles. Bulge is overdue. That thing got held up and lost, and I don't know what all. It's a block game, so maybe the fine folks working for the post office rattled it and thought whatever was in here has been broken into a million pieces and took a look. But that thing should have got here days ago. I assume that will show up tomorrow. And, well, now it's getting embarrassing. I also have the Killing Ground on order. I know. Don't say anything. It should already be apparent I have a problem. But, New England Simulations, I think that's NES, not the Nintendo Entertainment System, but NES, the New England Simulations game from 2002, now out of print, as well you would come to expect from any game worth having, designed by Mark Hinkle. And to help make up for these expenses, as if you are following me at all, I am gainfully unemployed, though that seems to be close to being solved. So I've done a little fundraiser for myself and taken my unpunched copy of On to Richmond and slapped it up there on eBay and have hoped for the best. And that auction ends, I think, tomorrow. So anybody out there interested in an unpunched copy of On to Richmond, other than the overpriced Noble Knight Games edition that they have up there, hop on and bid to your heart's desire. So, if you aren't familiar with the Killing Ground either, what's going on here? You're not familiar with the Hunters or the Killing Ground, or you are, and then I'm preaching to the converted. I'll read you this. New England Simulations revisits a familiar World War II venue, the hedgerows of Normandy, which I myself have been a fan of for some time, with some refreshing twists in the Killing Ground. And just a side note, Breakout Normandy is another great game that you might take a look at. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. But the game combines a mechanic usually reserved for smaller games, a chit pull combat system. See, already I'm sold. A hedgerows game that is chit pull, monster. Yeah, I'm in. With two gorgeous maps. You see, what more do you want? 900 counters, 36-page rule book, and it's written that they should have "Don't Panic" inscribed on its cover. The designer was content to place this warning on the first page of the rules instead. As you read the rules, you get the feeling that the designer wants to bring back the best parts of the good old days of wargaming. That newfound excitement and thrill you once had that gradually wore off as you slogged through the complexity of the latest SPI monster. Maybe a bit before some of our time, but we picked up on that stuff later. The rulebook is written almost in prose, which thoroughly intrigues me, gently explaining each rule and including historical footnotes when appropriate. Though long, it is well organized and easily cross-referenced. And I don't know what's wrong with me, but I enjoy reading a well-written rulebook as much as setting up the game and even playing it. The graphics are detailed but subtle, aiding play without distracting the player, in contrast with maps from games like The Gamer's Thunder at the Crossroads, wow, mudslinging, pipe down Russ, where the vibrant color can make you cross-eyed. Hues of gray and green predominate, and a fair amount of information is packed on each counter, which I don't have a problem with. Player aids are plentiful, and I always Always encourage that. The game itself focuses on post-invasion Normandy, where the Germans are trying to delay and attrite the Allies prior to their inevitable breakout. As much of the victory depends on the Allies' ability to maintain momentum throughout the campaign, as it does capturing key victory point hexes, any signs of trench warfare or worse, seesaw battling over villages is severely penalized. In yet another attempt to limit intelligence, the combat system includes a combat effectiveness shit pull system that disguises actual unit combat strength up to the last moment. The system adds a level of uncertainty to the game that leads to unexpected combat results and tempers any tendency to attack without some forethought. Although primarily designed for 2 players, the game can accommodate up to 4, Lord help us, solitaire players. Given its size and attention to detail, the Killing Ground includes 5 scenarios, all of them historical, as I would hope they would be. And then this was expanded as if it needed to be any bigger by Overlord, D-Day, and the Beachhead battles. So there you have it. A couple in-depth views of the Hunters and the Killing Ground. Hope you enjoyed that. Top 10 games of 2013 is what I've compiled for you lucky listeners. And apparently 2013 was and they describe it as such a real banner year for GMT. And they do thank their customers for that, and rightfully so. Number 10, Phantom Leader Deluxe. Don't know anything about it, and I do not own a DVG game yet, so that is subject to change. Number 9, Crusade and Revolution, the Spanish Civil War, 31 to 39. Don't know much about that. Now, when I say I don't know much, I know about the Spanish Civil War, but not this game that attempts to recreate it. Number 8, Napoleon against Europe. A lot of people like this game. I'm not familiar with it myself. Number 7, France 40. And that makes me smile. And my wish is that when I head to St. Louis from the nerve center that is Columbia and go to game night, those loving and compassionate people will have a copy of France 40 there. They tend to carry GMT stuff. It is not too much of a stretch to expect them to carry this, and I will be thoroughly disappointed if they don't. But if they have it, it's mine. So I ought to just call them and tell them to put my name on it now. Number 6, Axis and Allies World War I, 1914. You know, hats off to them for giving this a shot. That's cool. You don't need another World War II Pacific anything, or Europe, for that matter, European anything, Axis and Allies. No, I take that back. You need an Axis and Allies Stalingrad, at least. And for that matter, okay, there's a couple things Europe you need, but kind of an original approach to this vein of games, and anxious to see what they do put out next. I've looked at this game and kind of cringed. It's got some issues for me, but that's not to say that other people might be able to overlook them. Number 5, Navajo Wars. Another courageous stab at originality. I'm not sure I would have done it. Number 4, The Guns of Gettysburg. A game I am a proud owner of until it arrived with a corner crushed from Miniature Market, and never had a problem with them before till now, and I'm not even sure they're at fault. And suppose a careless mailman or very angry mailman may have voluntarily or involuntarily damaged it. Number 3, A Distant Plane. And these games spark my curiosity, but man, just not enough to throw down the money and get into them. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing out. I probably am. Number 2, Cuba Libre. A game I will probably Never own. Just not interested enough. And number one, 1775 Rebellion, another game that, in fact, I will probably own Cuba Libre before I even look at 1775. So that's how much interest I have in that. There you go. The top 10 games of 2013, and I'm going to give honorable mention to a game that was not among the top 10. And when I say top 10, this is according, again, to geek users, Board Game Geek users, and their ratings, which, as I've stated in the past, I am not exactly clear on how these ratings occur or take place. I'm somewhat suspect of them, but I'm going to give honorable mention to a game called Roads to Moscow because it deserves honorable mention, and throw that in somewhere, wedge that somewhere in the list for top games of 2013. And another thing with these rankings, as far as the top 10 for 2013, is some of these games were released earlier in the year, so more people have had a chance to buy them and play them and rank them as opposed to something that came out later in the year. So there's that. And yeah, rarely does something come out right out of the gate and skyrocket to the top. I'm sure a couple of things have done that, but wouldn't know what they are, and would kind of be interesting to know what they were. And that's that. So as far as future shows go, I think what I might do is take a week or even more break, because what I'm noticing is a lot of people are lagging behind in these shows and not keeping up, and that's to be expected. There's people have their own lives, and there's other shows and things to listen to, and I can't expect everyone to constantly listen to Hexes and Soldiers, though, as much as I would like them to. So I understand that, and it'll give, like I said, give me a break and you guys a break, and time for people just hopping into this to catch up. And I'm sure there's a couple people out there that might say, "No, don't stop, don't slow down." I'm keeping up, and I appreciate that, but I'm gonna have to do that, I think. And I have a certain esteemed associate flying in from New Orleans to visit family and yours truly, so that will, I expect and hope, eat up a lot of my time, as well as the usual stuff. And man, after 3 interviews with the hospital, I assume I'm pretty much in. So once there, my time will be gone. So I'll adjust accordingly and let you know what that schedule is going to look like. But so I'll say Merry Christmas now, in case you don't hear from me before then, and come back at you with probably a New Year's extravaganza and relate to you all the wonderful war games that Santa has left me under the tree. So, as far as future topics, I still want to do that designer versus designer segment. As far as European stuff goes, I haven't even touched on Market Garden or anything really Normandy wise. And man, I haven't done anything in the Pacific, and I have a ton of angry letters from Japanese wargamers that will attest to that. No, actually, I don't. But there's that, and then at some point, I'll be looking at box art. That's just fun. Especially Roger McGowan, all the stuff he's done with graphic design and is still doing, by the way. He is still very active. And of course, the sun don't rise instead on World War II, and I've said this before, so I'll say it again. There was another war, and then you got that Napoleon guy and the old American Civil War. So a ton of stuff, just a ton of stuff. And well, that's great because that means more shows. So yeah, that's it. Again, Merry Christmas to you and yours. And I'll be talking to you guys sometime around New Year's, and as usual, post your stuff beneath this show, comments, things you've been playing, and anything that might cross your mind, and I'll do my best to respond. So that's it for Hexes and Soldiers episode 7. Thanks for listening, and as usual, keep gaming.